what's up everybody? It's me, Yemmy the Ferret here with another episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Thank you so much for coming around. It's still sweltering hot. The weather has not let up just yet, but possibly could start letting up soon because this is the last week of September. That is, I believe. I think I'm wrong, actually. We still have another week of September to go. Oh, boy. Oh, okay, but anyways, it's still sweltering hot, so I do have my fan on. Apologies, but it is hot. It is hot. Anyways, thank you for coming around to this episode of YemmyCast on August 21st, 2019. If you're here for the premiere at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, I appreciate you. If you're listening on any of the other platforms, I appreciate you as well. There's also an episode that comes out on Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you check out this weekend's episode, which is with MazTech Gaming. We talk streaming and Bethesda, so you don't want to miss that. I've been playing a lot of Clone Hero in my time. It's kind of taken up a lot of my time and distracted me, simply because Rock Band 4 isn't cutting it. Guitar Hero Live died, and I still have my old Xbox 360 Guitar Hero 2 guitar, and I was like, I feel like playing with a guitar that actually works, because Rock Band 4's instruments are complete crap. And I'll tell you what, it's been a very nice experience. I'm glad that the fans went out there and made Clone Hero, because without Clone Hero, I would be stuck with the old games on the old console, or just playing Rock Band 4, which, you know, Rock Band 4 is not the best game in the world. The instruments, they were made by Mad Catz, and the Mad Catz went under, so it's being made by, I think it's PDI equipment or something like that, and they are still crap. I've gotten 3 brand new guitars right out of the boxes that have problems, and I'm done with it all, you know? I can't play the game as well as I used to, not because I've lost the stamina or the skill. I obviously can still play with Clone Hero, but Rock Band 4 is just a trashy game, and it keeps on adding. They're tugging at my heartstrings though, because they've been adding a Day to Remember songs and metal songs that I love. So they're teetering on the edge there. Other than that, haven't really played anything new this week per se, but Madden has been getting on my nerves a lot more. I posted on Twitter a recent tweet with a video of one of the most outrageous things that's happened to me in Madden. You can check that out on my Twitter at Yemmy the Ferret. More things have happened to me, of course, between that video and now, and I am highly just done with all the bullshit. The game is just complete BS. But hey, that's a discussion for another time. We're gonna talk about something happy. That's right. We're gonna wash away the bad vibes. We're gonna talk about something good. Sony has bought Insomniac Games. That's right. They've acquired Insomniac Games, the developer of Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, and I believe they did Infamous, right? They did Infamous Second Son, if I don't remember correctly. So yeah, the Insomniac was behind Ratchet and Clank, Marvel's Spider-Man, and has always had a pretty close relationship with Sony. But the studio has always wanted its independence. It's always wanted to be an independent studio. But all of a sudden Sony's like, hey, well, join our team now, and they're like, okay. The acquisition just seemed to be out of reach for a long time, and now Sony has finally probably given them the good enough deal, and here we are. They've been acquired by Sony. So all of that, all the games are probably going to be Sony exclusive forever now. So Ratchet and Clank, Marvel Spider-Man, other games that they've put out are probably all going to be Sony exclusive still and forever. Unlike with Quantic Dreams, which was acquired by that Chinese studio, which is going to be releasing all their games on different platforms, Insomniac is going to be still Sony-based. So, other studios that have agreements with Sony include Naughty Dog, of course, Santa Monica Studio, Sucker Punch, and more, all making PlayStation exclusive titles. So, obviously, Insomniac Games has given them a lot of high-quality games, like Spider-Man, which is selling pretty well even a year after its release. The reimagining of Ratchet and Clank was just so freaking good. I'm surprised that this didn't happen sooner. Like I said, I think that they might have come to an agreement at some point, or they couldn't come to agreement before, and now all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we have this is fine. We'll take this agreement. It obviously probably has some details in there about them still being their own studio and Sony not being able to interfere with things maybe, but a lot of the Sony studios, even though they're under Sony's thumb, they make really good games. Naughty Dog has made all the Uncharted games. Santa Monica Studios, you got the God of War franchise. Sucker Punch, Days Gone, not too bad. Still not the greatest thing ever, but not too bad. So we'll see what happens now that they've acquired it. Hopefully we'll be getting like a Marvel Spider-Man 2 or maybe another Ratchet and Clank game. My prediction is still that there's going to be a Ratchet and Clank game with the PS5. I think that's going to be, instead of it being Knack, it's going to be Ratchet and Clank, and I think that'll actually probably go over pretty well if you ask me, but that's just my opinion. It's also been revealed that Spider-Man has sold about 13.2 million copies, and the number is increasing because of all the sales and stuff going on right now. So yeah, it's pretty, like the article says, flabbergasting. But it's the only title released on the platform that hasn't even been out a year yet. So God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, games like that have all been around for a while, and they've sold pretty well. But this is one of the only games that hasn't been around for a year, and it's already sold 13 million copies, and that's pretty damn good. Both companies are obviously very happy with the way that Spider-Man has sold. Marvel Spider-Man, Sony and Insomniac Games. And, of course, there's probably going to be a Game of the Year edition sometime out this year. People are speculating that it's going to be in September, but it might be later, depending on when they reveal it. I don't know. But that's cool for Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, if you haven't picked it up, it's a great game. Not many people don't like it. It has a very fluid combat system. The Mary Jane missions and the Miles Morales missions are very boring, but they're few and far and in between. And I think the stealth stuff combined with the combat in the game just really does a lot for it. Really picks it up. Also, the open world is really nice. And I just think it's just a perfect Spider-Man game. It's probably the best Spider-Man game since Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man. I think I remember that from my childhood. I thought that was a pretty good game. Haven't played it again in a while, but I'm sure I could pick it up and be like, yeah, this is pretty good. But yeah, cool news there. Hopefully there'll be a Game of the Year coming out soon for people who want everything in one package. Also, Sony came out and said that the Ratchet and Clank series is vital to the future of the PlayStation. So after they, bought Insomniac Games, Sony came out and said, "We like what they've been doing in the Spider-Man franchise, and things like Ratchet and Clank are certainly vital series in the present and future." That's what we're concentrating on. So this is cool of them to say, because obviously Ratchet and Clank is a huge series on the PlayStation. It's been around since PlayStation 2, right? It's been around since PlayStation 2. No mention of Jack and Daxter from Naughty Dog. So maybe Ratchet and Clank is going to be the new series that just takes over the PlayStation in terms of like kids games. Even though it is a simple platformer, it's a very good game, and it can be tough and challenging at times. It's got a lot of great humor in it. The movie, on the other hand, that's a different story. Alright, so Need for Speed debuted its new game at Gamescom, and it is called Need for Speed Heat, or NFS Heat, if you want to be literal. So, the Need for Speed official gameplay premiered at Gamescom, as I said. They're hoping that it's going to reinvigorate the Need for Speed Spirit series, since the last few games have not been as good. But Need for Speed Heat is taking place in Miami, and it is going to feature day and night cycles. Well, maybe not cycles, but you can choose day or night. And also is bringing back cops. So the game is going to feature 2 different sets of cops. So the cops during the day aren't as brutal, aren't as well prepared as the cops at the night, who have like battering ram trucks and helicopters and traps and stuff for your vehicle. The one thing they kept mentioning over and over and over in this is how, if you crash, you lose everything. So it almost feels like it's going to be a Souls-like experience, where if you crash your car too badly and you don't make it to a repair shop, you get caught, etc., it's going to either reset you or reset your car or something like that. I'm sure you'll still keep your money, or maybe you won't keep your money. Who knows? You'll have to maybe start from square one, but that's an interesting thing because we haven't seen something like that in a Need for Speed game, at least, where if you crash your car, you lose it, you have to pay for it to get it back or something like that. Who knows? But that's what they kept saying over and over in this, and it perked my ears up because that sounds like something that would maybe turn people away from the game, because people do put a lot of time and care into designing their cars, and losing something like this with so much customization that's in this game, that'd be a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
So the customization in the game was a big part of it. Winning races, doing events, etc. Earns you money. I'm sure there'll be microtransactions for the money as well, to be honest with you. But allows you to get new paint jobs, custom decals, different like effects on your car as well. It also allows you to put new tires and new exhausts and all that kind of stuff, fine-tune your car. It also allows you to customize your character. So there's shirts, there's pants, there's shorts, there's sandals, there's socks, there's shoes, there's hairstyles, hats, etc., etc. Everything you need to do to customize your personal character. Now, does this mean that your character is going to be in cutscenes in the main story? I don't know. I don't think they would do something like that. It's probably going to be another first-person perspective thing if there are cutscenes in the game, or if there are cutscenes in the game that don't include your character. It'd probably just be something cinematic, something that look really, really slick. All in all, the game doesn't look too bad. It's very flashy right now. Obviously, like I said, I haven't got a Need for Speed game in a while now, and this might be one that's worth looking into and picking up. Not much else has been said about the game. I don't think there's even like a release date yet, or a tentative release date. I'm going to guess it's going to be coming next year, but I would have to look into it more. I didn't see any other articles about it yet, so, Need for Speed Heat. Coming maybe soon. Alright, so, there's going to be a new... What would you call it? There's going to be a new contender in the field of figures. So, Funko Pop, move on over, because Tubbs is announcing their Cosplaying Ducks series. So, Numbskull Designs has announced Tubbs, a new range of cosplaying duck figurines that could well end up becoming your next obsession. Throw out all your Funko Pops, they're in the trash. Here we are, we're with the ducks. Some of the biggest names in video games, movies, and TVs and comic book brands are represented, and each figure has its own individual pose to suit their character. They also each come with a stackable box and a unique bathtub-shaped display case. The figures are set to be released in regular waves and will retail for about $12, or 24 Australian. Oh man, 16 Canadian, 12 pound. 14 euro. Man, they got all their bases covered. So here are the confirmed ducks so far. So we have Borderlands ducks. Wave 1 is going to have Psycho, Lilith, Moxie, and Tina. Fallout, Vault Boy, Vault Girl, T-51 Power Armor, and Nuka-Cola Pinup Girl is going to come out in duck form. Destiny franchise, Cade 6, Lord Shax, Sweeperbot, and Eris Morn. Spyro the Dragon's going to have Spyro, Ripto, Elora, and Moneybags. Crash Bandicoot is getting Crash, of course, Coco, Dr. Neo Cortex, and Dr. N. Jin. Street Fighter is getting Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and Blanca. Elder Scrolls is getting Devakin, Aludian, Ulfric, Stormcloak, and Jarl Bulgruff, the Greater. The Wave 2 of Borderlands is going to have Brick, Maya, Chirene Calypso, and Troy Calypso. So those are the new evil characters. Ghostbusters series is going to have Egon, Ray, Vankman, and Winston. DC Comics is going to be getting Batman, Robin, Joker, Harley Quinn, pretty standard. And Lord of the Rings is getting Frodo, Gandalf the Grey, and Sauron, and Legolas. I didn't see that one. So I'll show a picture for the visual part of the podcast. They look like ducks, but they're very stylized ducks. Some of them have helmets and stuff on. Other ones have the exact face proportions of the characters, except just with duck bills. Some of them are very interesting, unique ways of throwing the characters out there. Cade 6 doesn't look too different, just like Shax. Is that his name? Shax doesn't look too different either. But a lot of the ones that like the Borderlands characters, the Spyro and Crash characters, the Fallout characters, stuff like that, they all have a very distinct stylized look to them. I don't know if they're going to be the same quality as a regular rubber duck, but, this is still a really interesting take on this all and on this whole figurine thing. Obviously, they're going to be adding more ducks in the future. This is just a wave 1, pretty much. I'm guessing that they're also going to be adding stuff like I'm going to guess they're going to add. It'd be pretty cool if they added Shrek figures, stuff like that. I'm sure that all the Funko Pop properties will also get life in these characters as well. Most of these characters are already in Funko Pop form. Some of them are older than others, but this is cool. This is a cool idea. I think that these are going to sell pretty well, especially because they're a little bit cheaper than Funko Pops. But the quality looks a lot better in their promotional photos. So not until you get them actually in your hands can you see how well done they actually are. But one of my biggest problems with Funko Pop throughout the years has been that the painting and stuff on it has not always been really that good, especially around the eyes and stuff like that. It seems like, definitely back in the old days, like I bought a Batman Beyond figure Funko Pop, and that thing was painted terribly. I almost wanted to return it, but, I didn't end up doing that. So hopefully these will be better quality than Funko Pop, and hopefully that these will take off, because these are pretty cool. I would definitely buy the Crash one, probably the Borderlands ones, especially the Psycho who is flipping off the camera with his duck fingers. So yeah, look out for those in the near future. Alright, so Fire Emblem is coming to Tetris 99 with its Maximus Cup, the Three Houses edition. So this is going to be starting on the 23rd, which is Friday at 12 a.m. Pacific time, and it's going to run until Monday the 26th at around 12 p.m. Pacific time as well, or 11:59 technically, right at the end of the day. So they're going to be celebrating the release of Fire Emblem Three Houses with a special Maximus Cup. Complete in online battles and collect at least 100 event points to unlock the new Fire Emblem Three Houses in-game theme. Event points awarded based on rank achieved in each battle you complete during the event. So yeah, it's a pretty cool incentive. We'll get people to go back and play Tetris 99, especially if they're fans of the Fire Emblem series. If you want to take place in this all across the world, it's between the 23rd and the 27th or the 26th. So make sure you get on your Tetris 99 battle bus and jump into the fray. That was bad. Witcher 3 is coming to the Switch, as we already know, and the eShop file size has been revealed. So the game is available for pre-order now. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition is going to be pretty massive in terms of file size, but it's also a pretty massive open world RPG. So make sure you have a super good micro SD in your Switch, because the game is going to require 28.1 gigabytes of free space. It's not as big as most PS4 games or computer games, but that's still pretty big considering how much memory the Switch has on its own. So the game includes not only an insanely large amount of main game with over 100 hours of content, but also includes Hearts of Stone and the Blood and Wine expansion. It also comes with every piece of DLC-ware, and if you're interested in picking up this game, it's going to be available in the eShop and at stores for about 60 buckaroos, the price of a original version of the game, even though the Game of the Year edition of this game sells for half that. Earlier this year in June, Saber Interactive and CD Projekt Red confirmed the entire game would be included on the physical edition. The game card will be a 32 gigabyte in size. The box edition will also come with some additional goodies, which you can check out on the website. Are you excited to play The Witcher 3 on the go? Are you planning on playing Witcher 3 on the go? You might need the new Switch to do that, because it is going to probably overhaul your Switch, and you might feel it warm up in your hands, which would be good if you're stuck in a snowstorm, but in this case, not so much. Alright, so Final Fantasy VIII Remastered is getting a release date on the Switch and other consoles, and it's going to be coming in September. During the Square Enix live event at E3, it was revealed that there would be a Final Fantasy VIII Remaster, and it would be coming out on Switch and other platforms as well. And in the latest update, the release date has been locked in. The title is based on the 1999 PlayStation original and will arrive early in next month on the 3rd of September. And it comes packaged with new graphical enhancements and a whole host of other options, allowing players to customize their gaming experience. Battle assist options, HP ATB gauge, and limit break boosts, game speed boost ×3, no random encounters, and more. Alongside the announcement, Square Enix released a new trailer for the game as well. I believe that was released at Gamescom. So if you want to, you can check that out on their YouTube channel. And in more Final Fantasy VIII news, the remaster is going to have more cheat codes on PC than on the consoles. So, as an RPG site reports, the PC version is going to get obtain all items, attain all abilities, maxed GF levels, maxed gil, maxed magic, obtain all special moves, obtain all cards, and other detailed customizations in the system settings. This doesn't mean much for people who are planning on playing through the remaster without modifiers, but it's still a little bit strange that the PC version is getting all this extra stuff, and console editions are getting none of it. It's not like there's a lack of power or processing for this game for the other consoles. Yeah, who knows? In addition, cheats might mess with trophies and achievements, so maybe that's why they didn't put the cheats into the game. But, I mean, there's plenty of games that have cheat codes that disable trophies, so I don't know why this one would work any differently. Alright, so the Nintendo Indie World Showcase was on the 19th of August, and it showed off a bunch of new indie games that are going to come to the Switch, and of course they'll probably be released on other consoles as well. So the trailers were for Risk of Rain 2, Eastward, Freedom Finger, Roki, Torchlight 2, Skater XL, Europa, Super Hot, Dungeon Defenders Awakened, The Tourist, Skellboy, Earth Knight, Hotline Miami Collection, montage of 15 games, and Ori and the Blind Forest. So there was a bunch of games showed off in a little montage. The montage included Blasphemous, Close to the Sun, Cat Quest 2, Spiritfarer, Trine 4, Creature in the Well, One Finger Death Punch 2, Best Friend Forever, Fogs, What is Golf, Kine, Hypercharge Unboxed, Northgard, Sparklight, and Munchkin Quakered Quest. So it was a lot of games in a short amount of time. The biggest ones in this is Risk of Rain 2, of course. Freedom Finger looked freaking ridiculous, and I'm definitely going to be picking that up. Eastward also looked pretty cool. Skater XL looked like the Tony Hawk that we never got. Ori and the Blind Forest, of course, Definitive Edition is a pretty big one. Hotline Miami Collection, also another big one. And then Super Hot as well is one of those games that, like, if you haven't played Super Hot, you're missing out on a pretty fantastic experience. Other than that, I mean, Skullboy looked a little interesting, but not my type of game, along with, what was it, Hypercharged or whatever. The little snippet it got for that was not very interesting to me. But hey, everyone's different. So yeah, if you want to, you can check out all those trailers inside the Indie Direct, or if you want to go onto the Nintendo YouTube channel, it has all of them as well. Alright, so EA, aka Electronic Arts, is looking to bring more of its successful games to the Switch. Less than a month ago, EA CEO Andrew Wilson said Switch owners choose to play the company's games on other platforms when asked about the possibility of The Sims coming to a Nintendo system, which would be a really good idea because there's a lot of people who would love to play The Sims on the go. Unsurprisingly, this didn't go down well with the owners of the hybrid device. In an attempt to improve relations, EA's Chief Studio Officer Laura Miele has now spoken about the company's investment in the Switch. So in the latest issue of Game Informer, she was quoted in an interview saying, "We invested with FIFA. We had good success there. I love that we have such a great global reach and global presence on that platform with that game. We are absolutely looking forward looking at more Switch games in our portfolio, so more to come on that. We're not going to announce anything as of yet, but it's absolutely a platform we're looking at for some of the more successful games. According to Melee, not all hope is lost. The Switch is absolutely a platform she wants to release games on. Back in May, EA launched its best hits on Switch, which was limited to FIFA and Unraveled 2. Wow. Greatest hits? Yeah, okay. So EA is missing out on a large number of players just because they go, oh, they play it on the PC, so we don't need to port it to the Switch. Dude, you're missing out on so many people who they own a Switch because it's a popular console or because it's portable, and I think putting The Sims or something on that console would be the best idea you can possibly do. You will make so much money, and you don't even need to put in microtransactions. Alright, so Doom Eternal is going to keep you playing for about 22 hours in its base campaign. So the original Doom for the Nintendo Switch and other consoles was about, what was it, like 18 hours, 14 hours? And this new one, in an interview with QConforums.com, ID Software's Marty Stratton confirmed that the game will take about 18 to 22 hours to complete, presumably in terms of the campaign, and they still have a bit of stuff left to cram in. So yeah, the previous one took about 9 to 14 hours on average, and it looks like this game is going to be doubling that. Obviously, there's going to be more incentive to keep playing the next Doom game because of the fact that there is that multiplayer mode, which puts two demons against one a Doom guy. That's going to be pretty sick. Reminds me a lot of the Gears of War Horde mode, which I think is going to be one of the best modes in this game. It's going to be one of the best ideas they've had. The cover for the game looking sick. The graphics looking sick. The monsters, the equipment, the gameplay, the blah, 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 all looking really, really awesome. If you don't remember, Doom Eternal is coming out, I believe, the 22nd of November, and it's going to be developed by Panic Studio for the Switch. Of course, it's ID Software for all the other consoles. Make sure, if you haven't and you want to, make sure to grab this game. It looks like it's going to be a continuation of that love that we had for the original Doom remake, just times 2. Alright, so A Hat in Time is going to come over to the Switch in October. If you don't know, A Hat in Time is a 3D platformer that just had a lot of charm to it. It was what Yooka-Laylee should have been. It was just a really great adventure. You choose different hats to do different moves. Each level has like all these cool, unique things to it. The characters are really awesome in this game, and it has one hell of a ending boss fight. Hat in Time is going to cost about $30 on the Switch eShop, and the $40 for the physical edition. The hard copy of the game includes the Seal the Deal DLC, and if you opt with the digital copy, you'll have to fork out an extra $5 or the regional equivalent for the additional content. To celebrate the announcement, Gears for Breakfast, who is the developer for A Hat in Time, released a brand new commercial for the game. So, yeah, like I said, it's just a really great game. I'm hoping that the game doesn't suffer any issues because it's being ported to the Switch. I've played it on PS4 and computer. Both those versions work exceptionally well. I do believe that the game is a little bit overpriced. Okay, it's not that long of a game, but it is a very good game. I think that's just because it's an indie developer and they spent a lot of money and time on this, and I think it's worth $40, but I don't think that it needs to be $40. You know what I'm saying? I think they could have gone with a little bit cheaper on this game to make it more accessible to people who don't have unlimited wallet space. But yeah, the DLC is going to come with the physical version, and you have to pay an extra $5 for the digital version. So it might be better to get this game digital. We don't know how large the file size is yet, so we have to wait and see. Alright, so speaking of Yooka-Laylee, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is going to come onto the Switch in October, which is pretty close to the release of A Hat in Time, so they're going to be butting some heads here. So, the game was set to release in 2019, and now we are getting an official release date of October. So yeah, that came from the Platonic Twitter, of course, so they said it's going to be coming in October. I believe this is going to butt heads with A Hat in Time, I guarantee it. So for the Switch especially, no official release date, just October. Very vague. I'm sure that this game is going to be pushed back. I mean, Yooka-Laylee was pushed back so many times. They're probably going to push back this game. I think that this game is going to be more accessible. I think this game is going to improve a lot on what I didn't like about Yooka-Laylee in general. Of course, I still want to do like a replay of Yooka-Laylee just to kind of see, if I still think the same things with all the updates, but I'm not jumping head over heels to try and do that. I had a pretty bad experience with the original Yooka-Laylee. I pretty much went through the game all the way without even doing half the levels because they gave you so many pages. I just didn't understand it. But yeah, we'll see what this has in store for us. I'm sure there's gonna be more trailers and stuff like that as the release date gets closer. But for now, we just have October, and A Hat in Time has the 18th of October. So we'll see if they clash at all. Okay, so a brand new Bobble game is on the way from Taito, and it's going to be exclusive to the Switcheroony. Bobble for Friends got an official announcement trailer, and it's going to be coming later this year, 2019 for the UK and Europe, and in 2020 for the US and Canada. Okay, so it's a little bit sketchy there. So Bobble is an extremely popular title in Europe, so we decided to implement a pre-sale in Europe in conjunction with in games and strictly limited games. It is also the first internationally developed title since Taito has re-entered the consumer market, and the development team is thrilled to be working on this famous IP. I deeply hope that many people will enjoy it. And that was Harishi Yumura, who is the executive officer and division manager and development at Taito. So the game is going to be launching in Europe on the 19th of November, like I said, both digitally and physically, and it's going to go in the first quarter of 2020 for the US and Canada. It looks exceptionally well. I would suggest looking at the trailer. There's like little space invaders in it. There's also like unique level design that kind of builds itself at times. Of course, it's going to be 4-player co-op. I'm not sure if it's going to be online yet, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, this looks like it's going to be a really good reimagining, remake, or continuation of the Bobble franchise. Of course, Bobble was really popular back in the day, and kind of lost its way a little bit. It had a few spin-off games, but then we haven't seen it for a while. And now here it is. It's getting a brand new game, brand new paint job. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so Nintendo Music has copyrighted or take down a bunch of YouTuber videos featuring its music. Now, before you jump on me, before you start yelling in the comments, they took down audio-only tracks, so specific songs. So a YouTuber got hit pretty hard, and his name was Gilva Sunner. And he posted on Twitter, "Game over," with a picture of all the copyright claims. And they also says blocked. The videos have been blocked. But here's the thing. Delfino Plaza, Super Mario Sunshine music, Super Mario Bros. Music, ground theme, ending theme, Super Mario World, ID Purpose from Fire Emblem Awakening, Mega Man 2 melody from Super Smash Bros. 3DS, Hyrule Field from Legend of Zelda Twilight. These are all just songs. It's not like he made videos of gameplay or anything like that. So they took down his music, the music he was using. Now, although I don't agree with this, and a lot of people are like, oh, they're taking it down because they're making a music streaming service. No, they're not. They're not going to put it on Spotify or iTunes or anything like that. This is just Nintendo kind of backtracking from where they were in our minds. They weren't taking down gameplay and stuff like that, but it seems like they're taking down music. Actual music. They're not taking down gameplay, they're taking down music. So if the music is in with the gameplay, that's fine, but if it's separate from the gameplay, like King Dedede's theme in Super Smash Bros. Brawl being just a straight up stale image picture with music playing in the background, then yeah. And of course, Nintendo is within its rights to legally take down the videos, but if you ask me, it is a little wrong of them to do so, especially in bulk like this. Hopefully this guy's channel didn't get taken down, because that is a lot of copyright claims and blocks for one day. I mean, it all happened on the same day. It's not like there's like, oh, this happened on Wednesday, this happened. No, this is all in one day. It was over 50 blocked videos. So yeah, people are hoping that Nintendo's going to come out with a way to listen to the music without having Smash Brothers or just on your headphones or something like that, a streaming service, but so far nothing has been said about that at all. So yeah, fans have flocked to the channel to support him, but of course, that's not really going to do anything right now. So there are a few official Nintendo channels, but they don't have all the songs that people would want. There's also another YouTuber by the name of Brawl, BRSTMS3X, who was shut down entirely after initially facing copyright notices from Nintendo, and the Pokemon Company issued similar notices to Pokemon Reorchestrated a few years back. So we'll see what happens or why they're doing this. It might just be to protect their music rights, but I doubt they're making like a Nintendo Spotify or something like that. I think they just don't like people putting out their music online. So what do you guys think of this? This is pretty big. I probably should have put this at the beginning of the podcast, to be honest with you guys, but I just didn't do it. But let me know what you guys think. Obviously, this is a big deal. Alright, so the Shovel Knight board game Kickstarter is back online after its cancellation, as I reported a few episodes back. The game was originally taken down because the tiers weren't to the liking of fans and the developer themselves. The Kickstarter has raised over $34,000 of its $70,000 goal with 24 days left to go. If you want to learn more, just go to Kickstarter and type in the Shovel Knight Dungeon Duels board game. The game is going to be a competitive... Yacht Club Games, and it's described as competitive side-scrolling dungeon crawl board game for 1 to 4 players. That is a weird statement. But yeah, the board game did look interesting from what I watched. You can watch the trailer or the preview of the board game on the Kickstarter itself. But yeah, we'll see how it sells now with the lower price point and with the higher quality pieces being in a more expensive edition, the lower quality pieces being in a less expensive edition. I think that's the best way for them to do it, simply because the people who are diehard fans are going to want the special, super duper high quality figures, while the people who just want the game and they want to play it because they're a fan of the game or whatever like that, get that lower edition, which still looks pretty good. The figures still look pretty good. Hey, Mr. Predicto, is BioWare fucked?
The signs say no.
Oh, that's good. Well, I have reason to believe that BioWare is completely screwed, because the Dragon's Age 4 lead producer has left BioWare. So if you don't recall, last episode I talked about Ben Irving leaving Anthem, and now this week, Fernando Mello, who is the Dragon Age lead producer, has confirmed his departure from the company after 12 years of being on the staff. Wow. So Dragon's Age 4, of course, is... They said this about Anthem, too. Dragon's Age 4 is going to be the game that brings BioWare back into the mainstream. It's going to bring them back into the good graces of their fans. Maybe. Because now, after Anthem's debacle, after Mass Effect Andromeda, Dragon Age lost its lead freaking developer, which is crazy. For a game that's supposed to be the revival of BioWare again, it's strange that he would leave the company. So in an email to his colleagues, and he also shared it on Twitter, the BioWare veteran described the next Dragon Age as the definitive Dragon Age experience, and he expressed his eagerness to play the game when it's finished, and he hopes that they continue on without him. So here's the one thing that bothers me. Both Anthem and Dragon Age now need new lead producers. Did they get canned because their way of doing things wasn't as good as we all thought? Obviously, Anthem has failed, and Andromeda failed, but we haven't seen anything of Dragon Age 4. We know that Anthem had staff members taken off of it to work on Dragon Age 4. I'm not a big fan of Dragon Age 4, but if I was a fan of it, I would be a little bit more concerned than I was before now, especially after everything happening. So we'll see what happens with this. More big news this week, and so close after Ben Irving left. It makes you scratch your head a little bit. So we have a nice few THQ Nordic articles. The TimeSplitters co-creator has joined THQ Nordic to plot the future course of the series. And thank you to Nick, shout out, for giving me this article. So, Microsoft acquired Rare at the beginning of the GameCube era, and the UK studio called Free Radical stepped in and released TimeSplitters 2 on Rare's behalf. Now, after all is said and done, the TimeSplitters IP has finally been acquired by THQ Nordic. So if you don't recall, TimeSplitters 1 and 2, very good games, arcade-style games. Me and my friend Nick, of course, played them to no end. Amazing, just amazing. They're really, really fun games. So THQ Nordic acquired Steve Ellis, who was, of course, the co-creator of TimeSplitters. THQ came out and said, last year, Deep Silver acquired the much-loved TimeSplitters IP. We're delighted to announce that one of the series creators, Steve Ellis, has joined us to help plot the future course for the franchise. TimeSplitters 2 was a multi-platform release and was followed by TimeSplitters Future Perfect in 2005. A fourth entry in the series never saw the light of day, and Ellis said that in 2013, he didn't think it would ever happen. So, we'll see what happens with this. Maybe they'll remaster the original 2 games and put them out again. That would be pretty cool. Or they're going to continue the series with a TimeSplitters 3 or 4. Interesting development, for sure, and something that's exciting for TimeSplitter fans everywhere. Alright, so Dying Light 2, the gameplay reveal trailer is set for the 26th of August. Of course, Dying Light 2 didn't have a huge presence at E3 or any of the Gamescoms or anything like that yet. And so, the Twitter for Dying Light came out and said, the time has come to show you Dying Light 2 official gameplay demo. Join us on a special stream on the 26th of August at 8 p.m., 11 a.m. Pacific time. Set a reminder, you don't want to miss this. So, I think it's going to be on their Twitch channel, if I'm not correct. But yeah, it's all going to start around 7 p.m. British time, or 11 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what the gameplay looks like. Hopefully it's pretty close to the original Dying Light game, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So it's not going to launch until spring 2020, the developer says, but we'll see what it looks like now, and we'll see if it's ready to come out now. Finally, with THQ Nordic... Actually, no, this is not the final thing with THQ... Okay, so Dead Island 2. The development has moved to a third studio, which is the studio behind Homefront: The Revolution, which was a game I hated. I hated that game. So Dead Island 2 has been in limbo for a long time now. It was announced all the way back in E3 of 2014. It changed developers for 3 times now, and the newest developer taking on the title is Dam Buster Studios. So in a new report from THQ Nordic, it explained the developer of the Dead Island franchise and the second entry in particular has been entrusted to the team based in Nottingham, the UK. Best known for its work on Homefront: The Revolution, it's not really the best track record to kick things off with. I agree, Push Square. So hopefully they can do something with this game. Hopefully they can finally make it come out. I like the Dead Island franchise. I didn't enjoy Dead Island 1, but I actually liked Riptide a good amount. And will Dead Island 2 ever make it? I don't know. I seriously don't know. Dead Island 2 has been in such limbo for so long. They might as well just scrap it, to be honest with you. I think that the days where zombie games were up in the front and center have kind of passed a little bit. You know, the Walking Dead franchise is done. The Walking Dead Overkill's The Walking Dead got canceled for all the consoles. Dead Island series obviously hasn't shown its face since 2014. We haven't really had like a zombie game for a while. Of course, the Dead Rising franchise. No, there wasn't like... I mean, Dead Rising 4 wasn't really that great, and... I mean, the Resident Evil stuff is still there and still doing well, but I don't know if, like, the open world, like, Dying Light style games are going to last for too much longer. Obviously, I'm still excited for this game and Dying Light, don't get me wrong, but I think that era has kind of come and gone with the zombie craze, but we'll see if this reinvigorates it. Alright, so this is the final news for THQ Nordic. A new Metro game is in development for THQ Nordic. So, Ukrainian Maltese developer 4A Games is working on the next Metro title from THQ Nordic. We knew that there was an undisclosed AAA project in the works, but we didn't know it was going to be Metro and so soon. Metro Exodus is kind of, I'm going to say it, hit or miss.
I guess they never miss, huh?
But in all, I do enjoy the game a lot. It still retains a lot of that Metro charm that you've come to know and love, with adding in that open world environment. Obviously, it's very weak around the edges. You know, it's still got a little bit of poo-poo in its diaper, if you know what I mean.
Kiss your mother with that?
I think that the next title needs to be a step up from Exodus. I think the load times need to be improved greatly, and I think that just the general textures and environment needs to be improved a lot. Even though it still looks fine, I think that there's still a lot of things that need improved about the Metro series, but we're hopeful for the future of the series, because Metro Exodus is still a pretty good game. Alright, so the Marvel's Avengers finally got a full gameplay reveal. It was originally revealed at Comic-Con, but it was only shown to people who went to the panel, which was not that many people. But now the 18-minute full-length game opening mission is available now to view on YouTube. So some things are a little rough around the edges on this one. Thor's cape looks absolutely terrible. Also, Thor twisted his head all the way around like an owl at one point, if you didn't notice that, really close to the beginning. Other than that, everything just kind of looks like a regular beat-em-up style game. They showed off all of the main characters, so Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, and Captain America were all in this. And it went through pretty much the entire first part of the game, the first level in the game. So, spoiler alert, if you don't want to be spoiled for the first level in the game and how Captain America kicks the bucket, you might want to steer clear of this trailer. But the game does look pretty good. The graphics and stuff like that look really nicely done. The first villain to show his head, spoiler alert, is Taskmaster. He's the first villain you see in the game. So a little bit of an maybe like a D-list character, but it's nice that they're giving him some love and appreciation. So if you want to, make sure you check out Avengers A Day Prologue gameplay footage on their YouTube channel. Alright, so Modern Warfare Alpha Test is going to hit PS4 this weekend, and you will not need to have a PlayStation Plus account to download it. So everyone's getting excited about Modern Warfare. Me, myself, I'm super stoked for it. All the gameplay and stuff has looked pretty fantastic. So in the new alpha test, it's going to give everyone access to a new mode called Gunfight, which is a 2v2 experience, kind of like the pit in World War II, except with 2 people. 5 maps are going to be offered throughout the weekend, allowing you to take in the scenes as you team up with a buddy for 2v2 action. It'll only be around for a couple of days, and the full beta is going to be available next month for those that pre-ordered the game. The best thing about the alpha test is that anyone with an internet connection and the ability to download it can play. An active PlayStation Plus subscription is not required to play the game. Wow, that's actually really cool of them to do. So 2v2 stuff, obviously they're doing a little bit of a stress test before the main beta, which is nice. They're showing that they kind of care. Hopefully they'll be showing off a lot of the guns and stuff like that you can get. I'm excited for this. I'm definitely going to be playing this weekend. If you haven't yet, make sure you mark this on your calendar, boys and girls. Gamer girls out there, make sure you get out of your baths and mark your calendars for the Modern Warfare Alpha, which is coming this weekend. Alright, so BattleWake is going to take to the high seas on PSVR next month. BattleWake looks like Sea of Thieves, except you're in VR. Can you drink tea in this one? I don't think so. But BattleWake is the next title from Survios, and it's hitting the PlayStation VR next month on the 10th of September. Their announcement trailer was released on the YouTube channel as well. It's coming from the channel from the studio that made Raw Data and Creed Rise to Glory, and the developer is used to virtual reality space, so you know that it's probably going to be a pretty decent game. There'll be enemies, ships to sink, and monsters of the deep to slay. So, I don't think it's multiplayer. I think it's just a single-player experience, maybe? Yeah, it looks like just a single-player experience. You command your ship, you shoot cannons, you fire pistols, you attack fortresses. I mean, this looks like a first-person Black Flag, to be honest with you, and or a first-person Sea of Thieves. I think this is going to be, well, actually, it is more of a Black Flag, because you actually command it with you go fire left, and the cannons fire. So definitely look out for this game, especially if you're a fan of pirates and Sea of Thieves and Black Flag and are interested in Skull and Bones, and if you love PSVR or VR in general. Did I make that any more annoying? No. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I might actually buy this, and if you want me to, I might stream a Rooney that bitch. Alright, so Dead by Daylight is getting a Stranger Things DLC next month in its next chapter. There's going to be a new killer and some new characters. The next chapter is going to be hitting next month in September, and it's going to bring a lot of new things related to Stranger Things. The new killer has been unleashed in order to bring terror to the residents of Hawkins, Indiana, the Demogorgon. It'll be joined by the two stars of the Netflix series, Nancy Wheeler and Steve Harrington, and they will fight for survival in the underground complex below the town's National Library. If you're a fan of Stranger Things and you have Dead by Daylight, this is probably going to be something that's going to be on your radar for sure. I know the Switch version of Dead by Daylight just came out recently. I don't know if this DLC is going to hit the Switch this year, but we'll see. Dead by Daylight is a pretty fun game when it works correctly. And I think it's one of those experiences that you can't really have on any other game, not even Friday the 13th of the game. So if you want to, check this out. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, definitely check this out. Alright, so PlayStation Plus cloud saves are apparently restricted to 1,000 files, which is kind of a minus. Sony increased the storage of the PlayStation Plus cloud saves from 10 gigabytes to 100 gigabytes, but people have found out, including the Twitter user Dizzy Zitty, that there's only a maximum of 1,000 save files that you'll be able to upload, even if it's under the 100 gigabyte amount. It does sound like a lot of files, but some RPG games actually save up to 5 to 6 save files per campaign. Also, like Skyrim and stuff like that, save a lot more. And if you have them to auto backup, that 1,000 is going to get really small really quickly. It's unlikely that you'll ever get 1,000 files in the cloud unless you have that many games or you want that many saves. Me personally, I think I have a bunch of games backed up to the cloud just because I either uninstalled them from my PlayStation and I wanted to save the files, so if I do reinstall it, I'll be able to play it, like Rage 2 and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't really have much in there in terms of files, but that could always fill up pretty quickly if I started playing more RPG based games. Alright, so Sir Daniel of MediEvil is going to get a new comic book from the co-creators. So MediEvil is coming to the PlayStation 4 on Halloween, alongside Luigi's Mansion 3. And the remake of the PS1 cult classic is going to get a brand new comic book penned by series co-creators Jason Wilson and Chris Sorrell. In a Twitter post by Gun Comics, MediEvil, Fate's Arrow, Chris Sorrell and I are delighted to announce that our prequel-sequel story to the original MediEvil will be released as a hardback book by Comics Titan with PlayStation this Halloween. Here's a sneak peek at the artwork, which looks kind of like an old-style comic book. Looks very stylized, looks pretty cool. Sir Daniel, of course, looking pretty badass. MediEvil also has been coming together quite nicely. There's been a new trailer uploaded or posted as well, and we'll see how the final looks like in about 2 months. Pretty exciting. I enjoy comic books, so I'll definitely be thinking of picking this up for sure. Alright, so Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts has a release date now. So November 22nd is the release date for Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts. It's going to be the continuation of the Sniper Ghost Warrior series. This one's taking a step back though. It's been revealed that this game is going to be more of a linear experience with 5 maps to roam around and do Hitman style type things. And of course you'll be hunted down by other snipers as well to try and fend you off. This article says that Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 was a failure. I don't think it was a failure. I actually really enjoyed Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, and after they updated the game, I feel like the open world worked a lot better than what people were led to believe, but that's like a No Man's Sky scenario right there. But yeah, so it's going to be a harsh single-player and online multiplayer experience. There's going to be 5 levels or maps to conquer, and I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be pretty cool. What do you guys think? Do you not like this PvP aspect? I didn't like the multiplayer in Sniper Elite 4, and this might be sort of the same thing, except just with 2 people on the map. I don't know. It's hard to tell right now. Alright, so Bungie is expanding Destiny 2's microtransaction store without even having input from Activision. This seems like a little bit of a step back as well. So one of the biggest controversies was the microtransactions in Destiny 2. Right now, the microtransactions are limited to cosmetic items only, but Bungie is planning on putting the Eververse, which is the microtransaction store, to the forefront. It's going to be marked on your map, and you'll be able to access it from any map on the field. The leader of BioWare came out and explained that this is the way that they're partially funding the next DLC for the game, partially funding the free-to-play aspect, is by keeping the microtransactions that fund the studio. It says that, he says that it helps fund the ongoing development of Destiny 2 and allows us to fund creative efforts we otherwise couldn't afford. In other words, the money Bungie makes from microtransactions helps keep Destiny 2 chugging along with new content. Smith gave an example. Whisper of the Worm's ornaments were successful, even though it paid, dev cost-wise, for the 0-hour mission rewards to be constructed, and that shit matters. Smith also says that the storefront, which we launched alongside Seasons of Opulence, is the first part of a strategic shift we're making with microtransactions. The decision to run old content in bright engrams instead of making new bright engrams is another part of the shift. We want to believe that our players would rather just buy things they like from the store. Basically, the Eververse store has become a very viable avenue of funding for Bungie. As such, the developer is looking to promote the store in even more ways, as I already said. Of course, this didn't go over well with a lot of players who are fans of the series. People thought that microtransactions were going to be taken out of the game entirely. But as Shinobi Nando said in my interview or talk with him about the Bungie split, it's a little bit too integral to the game right now, and especially if it's helping fund Bungie, they definitely need to keep those things in. Hopefully, with that lack of Activision in the way, the DLCs are actually going to be worth it, but that's another wait-and-see scenario right there. Alright, so the next Wolfenstein Youngblood patch is going to allow you to pause the game. Wow, what a interesting development. So, Wolfenstein Youngblood obviously hasn't been the best game around. Me and my friend have had a lot of problems with it, but it's still a fun co-op game, I guess, just to kind of mess around in. But you could not pause the game in an offline state playing with a AI partner. Well, now, in patch 1.0.4, you'll be able to pause the game during offline play. This comes as a part of a longer list of tweaks, fixes, and changes, but this bullet point is quite clearly the headliner of the patch. Machine Games has shared details of the patch that will arrive after 1.04, and it's going to seem to address more issues that players have been facing with the game. Additional checkpoints, difficulty adjustments, and tweak to enemy health pools to combat those described as bullet sponges. These changes will come later, I believe next month. So keep an eye out for that. Obviously, the game does need some fixes, and hopefully they get the game up and running to standard levels in the near future. Still don't like the characters, though, from the game. Alright, finally for the news today, a forum poster successfully requested a Mirror's Edge Catalyst pre-order theme to be put on the PlayStation Store, and it's going to be added within the next 2 weeks. Reset Era user Genetric didn't pre-order Mirror's Edge Catalyst when it released on the PS4 back in 2016. He missed out on the exclusive theme that only those who secured their digital copies early would gain access to. The user in question still wanted to purchase the theme over 3 years later, however, and so took the popular message board to make a plea to EA. Using a polite tone, he posed the question, "Dear EA, can we kindly, after 3 years, get the chance to buy the Mirror's Edge pre-order theme?" Someone who works at EA quickly responded last Sunday, stating that they will poke a few people and see if it can be done. The EA representative got back in touch earlier today, which was Tuesday, with some good news. He said, "Just popping this thread back up to say that it's not been ignored. We've had some discussions within the team, and we will shortly be requesting our friends at Sony to push it live. All going well, you should see it within 1 to 2 weeks." It's a little bit of a random request. Obviously, Mirror's Edge Catalyst wasn't as popular as a lot of people thought it was going to be. A lot of people were kind of didn't like the game at all. Me personally, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was pretty fun myself. I got the Platinum Trophy on it, which was an achievement in itself. I thought the game was pretty fun. You could make your own running paths that people could follow and do time challenges with. And the open world was pretty nice. It flowed pretty nicely. The story missions were fine. I thought they were mapped out quite well. I think that it's still a good game. If you can get it for a cheap price, I think it's going for about $10 or $20 right now. Definitely worth it in my opinion. But not everyone thinks that, and I'm not gonna disagree with them. I just think that they're wrong. But yeah, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, the pre-order theme is going to be available within 1 to 2 weeks. So if you want to, you can check that out for show. Alright, so it's that time again where we open one Scars of Battle booster pack. And we'll see what we get. We're still looking for the Barrel Dragon. New episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Went up Tuesday, so if you want to, you can check that out. Let's see what we got. The new Yu-Gi-Oh! Episodes are not like this, but we have the Iron Blacksmith again. We have Break Draw. You can't really see it because of the freaking glare. Gatekeeper, and on the end, the Frightening Freight Car. Wow, amazing. Not good cards to get out of this pack. Oh well. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of YemmyCast, a video game... Oh! But wait, Yemmy! What about LootCrate filing for bankruptcy? That's right! LootCrate has filed for bankruptcy. Wow! If you guys don't know, LootCrate is the monthly subscription service that gives you crap every month. Quite literally. So in a press release, the CEO, Chris Davis, acknowledged that the company had been unable to recover from a string of past struggles over the last 18 months, but those seem to go back all the way to 2016 when the company's first laid off 12 employees, then held layoffs again in 2017 before defaulting on a loan that it then refinanced in 2018 thanks to a $21 million term loan. Most recently, 150 employees were laid off in July when LootCrate closed a plant in Vernon, California. So yeah, investors are pooling out now. Moneycrest LLC had purchased the company's term loan and offered $10 million in funding to keep operations going, according to Davis. We have worked diligently to overcome challenges with our capital structure along with legacy issues the company has been struggling with for the past 18 months. We are very pleased with our progress from an operational efficiency standpoint. However, the company still faces liquidity issues. After careful review of a wide range of available options, management determined that the sale of the company is the best interest of all parties, including our valid looters and employees. Daily operations will continue as usual. Unique and exciting fan items will be purchased, crates will be shipped, and all aspects of the business will go on as before on the Chapter 11 filing. Our employees will continue to be paid as usual during the transaction. So, LootCrate and a lot of other crates have been struggling hardcore recently because I think people are starting to realize that you're getting crap in those things. A t-shirt is a mishmash of two different properties every single time. There's always some kind of Funko thing, which isn't always the best quality. Sometimes it's a Funko Pop, sometimes it's a book. But all that combined, like, the last Loot Crate I got had a t-shirt, of course. It had Adventure Time tin that had, like, a secret, like, a clip, one of those, what are they called? I don't even know. Keychain. That's what they're called. And a pencil case in the damn thing. A pencil case. Like, no, that's not something I'm going to use. It wasn't that cool. It was just Adventure Time themed. It's like, this is just crap. I threw all of it away. I didn't even like the t-shirt. So it's understandable that the company is filing for bankruptcy because I think people are pulling out. Looters are pulling out. And this is just a big oof. You know, Loot Box has been a big oof for a very long time, and I think it's finally catching up to it. I think people are finally going, okay, so subscription services like this are pretty shitty. And I agree. I think it's really shit. I mean, the last 3 Loot Crates I got were just full of dumb stuff that I don't even if I enjoyed Transformers or or Adventure Time, I don't think I would have enjoyed because keychains. A $25 Loot Crate and you get a keychain with the damn thing. You get a crappy figure. Sometimes you would get Kid Robot stuff, which is the peak of performance for figures. But most of the crates just were full of just crap, bandanas, pencil cases, worthless keychains, junk. Junk, just junk in general. So Loot Crate. Goodbye, Loot Crate. I hope that you don't return because I do not like your frickin' product. Same goes for all those other crate type services. Just stop. You're taking people's money for crap that's not even worth $25. there used to be some cool stuff in there. Like, there was a Bob's Burgers apron that I got one time. There was like this Batman figure where he was looming over the edge. It was kind of like a cartoony looking one. It was on my shelf for a while before I ended up throwing it away. There's some stuff that was pretty cool in those things. I don't think I have anything from Loot Crate on my desk right now. Oh, I do. This was one of the cool things. Loot Crate shipped out the Terminator skull. I thought this was pretty cool to get. It was a nice quality. It looks cool. Oh, Sarah Connor. I mean, some of the stuff was cool, but most of the stuff was just complete garbage. I think there was a mug once that was in the shape of Venom, which was kind of cool, but other than that, it was just a big wah-wah when I opened those crates. I actually opened them on my old YouTube channel, and they just got worse and worse and worse, and I couldn't take it anymore. They once released Dragon Jerky for like Skyrim. It literally looked like the stuff that was on the playground, the shredded up tires that they use on playgrounds now. And it tasted like rubber. So, dragons don't taste too good, that's for sure. But anyways, Loot Crate.
Boo! You stink!
You do! Anyways, that is it for this episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. Thank you so much for coming around, sticking around, enjoying your time here with me today. Remember, next Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time is Maztec Gaming. We're going to have him on, talk about streaming and Bethesda. Make sure you check that out. This episode of the podcast was sponsored by no one, so fuck you. I am thinking of doing something with the podcast to kind of help promote other people who I enjoy their content, but that's going to come in a later update video. So cheers to you. If you're watching for this long, you got insider news right there. Other than that, nothing else to report. I will continue playing Clone Hero obsessively until my fingers fall off. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode on this fine Wednesday. Make sure you check out the podcast also on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts if you want to listen to the audio-only version. I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been YemmyCast, a video game podcast.